Important tasks of happy ants. Annie, a tiny ant with big dreams, stood at the gate of the ant colony. She was determined to find new food sources for her colony, no matter what it took. With her tiny legs moving swiftly, Annie stepped into the vast grassland. Towering blades of grass surrounded her, but she wasn't afraid. She knew great discoveries awaited her. Suddenly, Annie's antennas quivered with excitement as she spotted a hidden trail shimmering in the sunlight. Without hesitation, she followed it, curious about where it would lead her. Annie's tiny eyes widened with awe as she entered the garden. Everywhere she looked, there were mouth-watering fruits and vegetables, ripe for the taking. She had found the treasure she sought. An unexpected noise interrupted Annie's exploration. She froze, tiny legs trembling as she spotted a giant human observing the ants. Fear gripped her, knowing that they were now in danger. Annie hurried back to her ant friends, her voice filled with urgency as she relayed the news of the human's presence. The ants huddled together, their worried expressions mirroring Annie's concern. Determined, the ants gathered around, using leaves and pebbles to strategize. They would outsmart the traps set by the human and gather enough food to save the colony. Their tiny brains worked together like gears in a clever machine. The ants sprang into action, each tasked with a crucial role. Annie and her friends created a diversion, their tiny bodies darting and weaving, distracting the humans' attention. Meanwhile, others skillfully maneuvered to dismantle the traps. Victory belonged to the ants as they carried an abundant supply of food back to their colony. Each ant proud and strong, their backs straining with the weight of their accomplishment. They had succeeded against all odds. A change came over the human as they observed the ants' industriousness and harmless nature. Moved by their resilience, they decided to create a small protected area in the garden, a haven for the ants to gather their food without fear. Annie and her ant friends came together, their tiny bodies raised in triumph. Their antennas danced with glee and their smiles beamed with pride. They celebrated their victory, knowing that together they could achieve anything. As Annie stood at the edge of the garden, she looked back at the path they had traveled. Her heart swelled with gratitude for the lessons they had learned and the obstacles they had overcome. With excitement, she gazed onward, knowing that there were countless adventures waiting just beyond their tiny anthill.